Dear friends, I'm talking to you now in English. I was not able to speak English when I was a student in a school because I am the product of a Malayalam medium school. And I was born and brought up in an interior area, in a forlorn area, in a village setting in Kozhikode district. And I studied in a very ordinary school. And I was scared of English language, just like most of you listening to me, watching me. Because a fear complex has become part of you. And therefore I am coming to you to take out of you this fear, because English language is the simplest language, simpler than your own mother tongue, our own mother tongue Malayalam. I will convince you that picking up, mastering English language is easier than picking up Malayalam. I speak with conviction. Before I go into the way that I have mastered English language, let me talk to you about Baiju Ravindran, who is very familiar to you because he is the owner of world's leading online education platform, Byju's. He is from Kannur district. He is from Azhikode. He was not a product of an English medium school. He completed his studies in a very ordinary Malayalam medium school. Now he is the owner of one of the most leading online platforms in the world. And if you go into a study about this platform, you will come to know that during the last financial year, 2019-2020, the revenue was 2,800 crore rupees. In an interview, he declared before the world the way that he had mastered English language. He was a person, while being a student, had fallen in love with games, with sports, with football, with table tennis, and particularly cricket. And he was a person who, with a passion for cricket, used to listen to cricket commentary. And it was through the dependency on the cricket commentary in English that he was able to master English language and was able to speak English fluently. If Baiju Ravindran was able to come from a very ordinary background and make a big difference in the world, teaching students across the world in English language, if he can, why can't you? Let me share with you my own process of becoming a person with ascendancy over English language. Some of you may be aware that I have authored a textbook on mastering English language. And this book was prepared in 2001, primarily keeping in mind students like you. Students who are scared of English language. Because I realized after completing my studies at A.J. John Memorial School in a very rural setting in Calicut district, I joined Don Bosco Seminary. After joining Don Bosco Seminary, all of us were forced to converse to talk to each other only in English. And we had excellent English teachers. After having spent a couple of weeks trying to understand the logic applied in English language, I realized that English is as simple as ABC. And I felt that several students have preconceived notion, have fear about the language of English because of their misunderstanding, because of their misconception, because of their misjudgment about complications in English language. When I was like you, I spoke Manglish, not English. What do I mean by Manglish? When a Keralite speaks English, we can easily identify because at the end of most of the words, there will be a Chandrakala. For example, what is your father? My father is a farmer. This is typical style of a Keralite. What is your mother? My mother is a homemaker. This was the pronunciation. This was a style that I too had when I was of your age. And I used to translate Malayalam into English, applying the same logic, the order applied, used in Malayalam. For example, ഞാൻ ഇന്നലെ ഒരു ഗ്ലാസ് പൊട്ടിച്ചു. How do I translate? Yesterday, a glass broke. This is not English. This is Manglish. English without grammar. English without proper structure. In the construction of a sentence in Malayalam, we always begin with subject. Subject is followed by time. And after time, object. And verb is placed at the end. ഞാൻ subject. ഇന്നലെ time. ഒരു ഗ്ലാസ് object. പൊട്ടിച്ചു verb. This is Malayalam structure. But English structure is different, which I was not aware earlier. I was ignorant about the simple logic applied in English for the formulation of a sentence. What is the formula followed in English for the construction of a sentence? Subject plus verb plus object plus time. The time word will be at the end. I broke a glass yesterday. I subject, broke verb, a glass object, time yesterday. So this is the simple principle that we need to understand whenever we construct or formulate a sentence in English. Begin with subject, to be followed by an auxiliary, a helping verb or a verb, either in the present tense or past tense or future tense, followed by object, and the time words are always placed at the end. So if you want to master English language, what should you do? I try to get into the shoes of a student coming from a Malayalam medium school. What exactly are the difficulties that they have? And going through the grammar, the structure followed in English language, and I realized that the English language is built or founded on few helping verbs or auxiliaries. One, am, is, are, was, were, will be. You should know how these auxiliaries are used. Is, am, are have the same meaning. Aanu, ആകുന്നു. Was, were, same meaning. ആയിരുന്നു. Will be, ആകും. And we use either one. We can use these auxiliaries with verbs in ing form. We can use these auxiliaries with nouns. We can use these auxiliaries with adjective. For example, farmer or teacher is a noun. I can use this noun along with these auxiliaries. Take the case of a verb. Cultivate is a verb. So, cultivating. And third one, adjective, rich. Rich is an adjective. With these three words, let us see how we can use these auxiliaries without any complications. First of all, we should know that am will go only with I. Rule number one, I am a teacher. And am will go only with present time. I am a teacher now. Second rule, connected with use, is and are will go only with the present time because meaning is aanu, ആകുന്നു. And will go with, is will go with singular subject other than I. Are will go with plural subject, you and plural subject. And therefore, I am a teacher now. You are a student now. Or you are students now. My youngest sister is a student now. And was will go only with singular subject. And where will go only with the plural subject. I was a student 20 years ago. I was. ആയിരുന്നു. I will be an old man after 30 years. Will be, ആകും. So this is the application of noun. I am a teacher. I was a student. I will be an old man. My youngest sister is a student now. You are a student now. You were children, your babies before. This is application of noun. Now the same auxiliaries can be used with adjectives. A word that describes a noun. For example, rich is an adjective. Is your father rich now? Are your parents rich now? Was your father rich 10 years ago? Were your parents rich 10 years ago? Will your parents be rich after 10 years? So, adjective can be used taking into consideration the subject and also the time. And the third use with these auxiliaries will be with the verb plus ing. For example, is your father cultivating vegetables now? Are your parents cultivating vegetables now? Was your father cultivating vegetables last year? Were your neighbors cultivating vegetables 2 years ago? Will your father be cultivating vegetables next year? Very simple. Simple logic. So if we are thorough with the use of noun, the use of verb, and the use of adjective, there is absolutely no scope for confusion. It's very simple. You can use with noun, you can use with verb, you can use with adjective. Is, was, are, were, will be. I suppose you are all at ease now. You thought English was such a complicated language. No, it is a simplest language. The second category of auxiliaries, helping verbs, 4 of them: do, does, did, will. Very simple logic. Do is used with plural subject or you, along with verb. And verb in the present tense. We know that verb can be either in the present tense, past tense, or past participle. Go, went, gone. Speak, spoke, spoken. Break, broke, broken. So, do will go with you or plural subject. Do you go to market every evening? Do you go to market every evening? Do your father go to market every morning, every evening is wrong, because does cannot go with you. Does can go only with a singular subject other than you. And therefore, it will be, does your father go to market every evening? Look at the time words. With do and does, only habitual time words are used at the end. Normally, usually, always, every week, every morning, every evening, every day, every afternoon, every night. Habitual time will go along with do and does. So what's the simple logic? Whenever you use do, make sure that the subject that you use is either you or plural subject. Whenever you use does, make sure that the subject that you use is singular. Does your mother get up at 5 o'clock every morning? Do your parents get up at 5 o'clock every morning? There is a difference. One is singular and the other is plural. The third auxiliary is did. Did will go with any subject. Very simple. It can go with the singular, it can go with the plural, it can go with I, you. Any subject can go along with did. And it is referring to an action that is completed, past tense. But along with the did, we always use the present tense. For example, did you break a glass yesterday? Time word is placed at the end, yesterday. But the verb used is present tense, because with the use of the auxiliary did, the whole question is changed into past. But when you answer the question, the answer is without did. Did you break a glass yesterday? Yes, I broke a glass yesterday. Past tense. No, I did not break a glass yesterday. In the no answer, the verb used is present tense, because in the no answer, you are using the auxiliary did. No, I did not break a glass yesterday. So very simple. Did you sleep well last night? Yes, I slept well last night. No, I did not sleep well last night. Did you drink coffee this morning? Yes, I drank coffee this morning. No, I did not drink coffee this morning. Very simple. And the fourth auxiliary is will. Will also can be used with any subject. And the verb usually is present tense, very simple. And the time word will always be referring to the future. Will your father cultivate vegetables next month? Present tense. Will your father cultivate vegetables next month? Yes, my father will cultivate vegetables next month. No, my father will not cultivate vegetables next month. Will you write the examinations next month? Yes, I will write the examinations next month. No, I will not write the examinations next month. Therefore, it's very simple. Am, is, was, are, were. Here, do, does, did, will with the verb. And you have the third category of auxiliaries. Has, have, had, will have. You know the meaning of has and have, same meaning, und. The only difference is in the use of subject. Have can go with I, you and plural subject. Has can go only with singular subject except I and you. And therefore, my father has, my parents have, I have, my neighbors have, India has, Kerala has, Kozhikode has. So together with has, have, had and will have, normally we can use nouns. For example, I have a car. My father has 10 acres of land. My younger sister has a bicycle. My elder brother will have a job next year. So all these words are nouns. Job is a noun. Bicycle is a noun. Acres of land, noun. And very easy to understand and combine. The second usage has, I'm talking about has, have, had. I had means undayirunnu, which means referring to the past. I had a bike last year. It can go with any subject. Very simple. We had 10 acres of land 5 years ago. We had. My mother had a gold chain last year. So had can go with any subject and normally we use noun. And will have means it is referring to future. Undagum. My father will have 2 cars next year. My neighbors will have 2 more acres of land next week. So all these words are nouns and everything is referring to the future. The other use of these auxiliaries, has, have, had, will be with past participle of the verbs. Verb has three forms, present tense, past tense, past participle. Come, came, come. Write, wrote, written. Swim, swam, swum. Break, broke, broken. Speak, spoke, spoken. So you can use has, have, had with the past participles of the verb. For example, I have drunk tea today. I have. My parents have bought fish today. My younger sister has written her assignment today. So along with has, the time word normally used is today, or just now, or before. Only three time words are used. My father has gone to sleep at 10 o'clock last night is wrong. My father went to sleep at 10 o'clock last night is correct. Or my father had gone to sleep at 10 o'clock last night is correct. So along with has, along with have, the time word to be used before 1, just now 2, 3, today. My neighbor has consumed alcohol today. It's correct. My neighbor has consumed alcohol yesterday is wrong. My neighbor consumed alcohol yesterday is correct. My neighbor had consumed alcohol yesterday is correct. So, for have and has, the time word use should be strictly followed. For the auxiliary had, you can use any time word of the past. For example, my elder brother was abroad, had gone abroad 10 years ago. Had gone abroad. Not had went abroad. Not had go abroad, because you should use the third form, the past participle. My elder brother had failed in the examination last year. Had failed. Therefore, these auxiliaries are the pillars of English language. So dear friends, dear students, dear teachers, all those who are scared of English language, I am telling you very authoritatively, very confidently, with my own experience of becoming a person with ascendancy in English language, a person who was speaking Manglish. I am telling you, if you know this logic, if you are familiar with the use of auxiliaries that I have explained to you with examples, you have nothing to fear. You will fall in love with English language. And you will declare before the world that English is easier to learn than my own mother tongue, Malayalam. And therefore today I think first in English and then in Malayalam. That is a level that I have reached. And taking into consideration the struggle of students in Kerala, particularly those from Malayalam medium schools, I had taken a decision to come out with a textbook before my ordination. My ordination was on December 30th in 2000. And during the days before my ordination, I experimented with the young people in Arunachal Pradesh, with the young people in Trivandrum, with the young people in Ernakulam. How effective the teaching of English language with the use and explanations of the auxiliaries. And I found that It was very effective. And a spoken English textbook consisting of 500 pages with several examples, with required explanations in Malayalam, getting into the shoes of a typical Keralite in a Malayalam medium school. The book was published. And without any publicity, by the word of mouth, almost 1 lakh copies of this book were sold without giving any advertisements. Because English is a language that can be picked up without the help of a teacher. That is the way I have envisaged, I have visualized my textbook. And therefore, students, if you have any prejudice against English language, throw it out. Be at ease. If Baiju Ravindran could master English language and could become a leading company owner, that too of English tutorials, online tutorials. If I could come out of my Malayalam Manglish background to this level, this is the best testimony about what you can be in the future. So, dear friends, how do you feel now? Did I succeed in taking the fear out of you, the preconceived notions about English language that you had before watching me? I am telling you categorically that English language learning doesn't require the physical presence of a teacher. If you know the logic of the application of the auxiliaries, is, was, are, where, will be. Throw away all the prejudices, the fears that you have, and go ahead with learning of English language, and you will master English language, and you will be able to speak English better than me. I wish all of you success in your sincere effort to master the simplest language, English.